What if I told you there's an NFL team that, over the last 20 years, has just the 10th best regular season record, has been only 4-9 in the playoffs in that same stretch, and hasn't even been to a Super Bowl in 28 years? But they still dominate the football headlines every week.
What?
In fact, they're also the highest valued sports team in the world out of every single sport. That's right. It's the Dallas Cowboys. They've been good, not great, for decades. They are not an elite team. So why does everyone really care about the Dallas Cowboys? We'll let you know how it is the Cowboys muscled their way to the top of the headlines and what reasons the league has for making them their poster child. And you won't believe it, but no matter what they do, no matter what their record is, the Cowboys have set the table so that they will always be at the top of the headlines. Stick around to find out their special secret. This is the Gridiron. Cowboys' success. To rehash, yes, the Cowboys haven't won or even been to a Super Bowl in 28 years. The average age of their current roster is roughly 26 years. So most of the players in Dallas weren't even born the last time the boys were in the big game. For the past 20 years, football fans cannot go a day without hearing some story about the Cowboys on their favorite sports shows. Oftentimes, it's the leading story. Again, 10th best record in the league over that span, and 4-9 in the playoffs. It's a good place to be for a team, but they are by no means elite as their coverage suggests. In the 2023 season, through 9 weeks, the Cowboys haven't done much else to overly impress us. Yes, the defense is outstanding.
Yeah, boy.
Letting up only 288 yards per game is third best in the league, and letting opponents score only 18.5 points per game is sixth best in the league. The offense is decent. 346.5 yards per game is 10th best in the league, and their 27.5 points per game is third best. Granted, those numbers are skewed, as they have had an easier schedule for the start of their season. Being able to put up big numbers against the only 2-win team in the AFC, the New England Patriots, along with the struggling New York Giants and the New York Jets, who've had to play their second-string quarterback for virtually their entire season. But the Cowboys have had struggles in the red zone on both sides of the ball. Once opponents enter the red zone, the defense gives up a touchdown 60% of the time. That's 22nd in the league. And the offense in the red zone, they score a touchdown only 43.75% of the time. That is 29th in the league, better than only the Giants, Jets, and Titans. All teams that have quarterback issues and changes throughout the season. If the Cowboys oscillate between a decent team to a pretty good team, then why is the media coverage on them treating them like they're phenomenal? Like they're in the Super Bowl every other year? America's team. You've likely heard the Cowboys referred to as America's team. That is excellent marketing that just holds up. People all over America view them as America's team. But it goes deeper than a moniker. Dallas is in Texas. Texas is a huge football state. Texans go wild over college football. Texas has 13 Division I college football teams in the FBS. But what if they want to root for a professional football team? For a while, the only pro teams in Texas were the Cowboys and the Houston Oilers. The Houston Texans didn't emerge until 2002, and the Oilers were already on their way out of Houston to go to Nashville, Tennessee in the 90s. As the state's only consistent team, the Dallas Cowboys gained the hearts of most Texans. Now, Texas is the second most populated state in the nation with around 30 million people. Pair that with surrounding states that don't have professional football teams like New Mexico, Oklahoma, and Arkansas, where the Cowboys are regularly on local TV, and you could see how there are so many fans in that area. And do you know where the Cowboys hold their training camp? Oxnard, California, just outside of Los Angeles, a city that was starved for a football team for many years. Yes, LA now has the Rams and Chargers. They had the Rams a while back, and they had the Raiders for a spell. But there were many periods when there was no NFL team in Los Angeles. With the Cowboys holding training camp right on the outskirts of LA, they became the team for many Angelinos. The fandom of the Cowboys stretches far and wide. When sports shows want to appeal to the masses are Cowboys fans by and large. 90s Uprising. But it's more than just that. The National Football League has seen many periods in which their fandom has grown, perhaps none more than in the 1990s when it was really blowing up. At the NFL's annual meeting in Orlando, Florida on March 12, 1990, a new 4-year television agreement was reached. The deal involved ABC, CBS, NBC, ESPN, and TNT. The contract was $3.6 billion, the largest package in television history at that point. The 90s saw 15 new or renovated stadiums in the NFL. Attendance was increasing annually. History was being made left and right. 2,000-yard rushing seasons by Terrell Davis and Barry Sanders, passing records being broken by Dan Marino. Even Jerry Rice broke the career receiving touchdown record in 1992, notching 101 touchdowns. People were tuning in to see all of these fantastic feats. They were sticking around to watch all the games. And who was arguably the best team in the 90s? The Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys reaped the benefits of being one of the best teams in a league exploding in popularity. The Cowboys became the first team to win 3 Super Bowls in a 4-year span, winning in 1992, 1993, and 1995. Do you know which player led the league in total touchdowns in the 90s? The Cowboys' own Emmitt Smith. And talk about a dream team that the Cowboys had back then. Along with Emmitt Smith, they also had Troy Aikman and Michael Irvin. You want to draw fans into your team? A big personality like Irvin's will help. And after having won 2 Super Bowls, their owner, Jerry Jones, said that wasn't enough. He wanted to fortify that defense. He brought in primetime himself, Deion Sanders, who helped them win that 3rd Super Bowl. As if the team didn't have enough personality already, they just added a whole extra layer. So when you have a team seeing massive success in a decade where the sport is exploding in popularity, of course, all eyes will be on them. But how do the Cowboys keep all eyes on them throughout the decades, even without their success? The ultimate marketer. It is because Jerry Jones is the ultimate marketer for his team. How many billionaire owners are out there doing weekly radio shows about their teams and catching the ears of millions? That's right. All Jerry has to do at this point is to keep talking about the Cowboys. Because the Cowboys' relevance was cemented in the 90s, they don't have to keep being great. They just need Jerry to keep talking. Sure, Jerry would like to see his team win, but really, he just wants people to keep talking about the Cowboys and to keep watching their games. That's what keeps the money rolling in. Think about it. When the Cowboys are having amazing games and seasons, they're on top of the headlines. People are always speculating if they're one of the best teams in the sport. Will they finally make it back to a Super Bowl? If the Cowboys are getting blown out, if they are having horrendous seasons, they're still on top of the headlines. People are now saying the franchise is washed, mentioning that they haven't been to a Super Bowl in almost 3 decades, and saying they'll never get back again. If the Cowboys are average, finishing a season 9-8, making the playoffs and losing in the first round, which is known to happen, they're still on top of the headlines. People are saying they are overrated, they're not that good, and arguing against the bravado that the star of the Dallas Cowboys suggests. See, it doesn't matter what they do in terms of on-field success. The groundwork has been laid. They are America's team. They are in football country. They have a massive fan base all over the country. Whether they win, lose, or draw, there will be comments made about them. There will be strong opinions. There will be arguments on live TV over their success. The Cowboys have become a polarizing team. Whatever your opinion is of them, it's probably a strong one. And that's what keeps them in the headlines every single week.